ain't tell y'all? You tuning into the best morning show on the globe. It's Bradham and Emery in the morning, y'all.
LeBron or Jordan, either one when I'm performing. Crossover, buzzer beater and I'm scoring. Bradham and Emery in the morning. Every play they on it. Every day I'm balling. Who's the coach? Who's the GOAT? Like Brady and Belichick, best show on the globe. And they embellish it. Y'all paying Ziffy, I'm King Griffey or maybe Mahomes. I stay in the zone, whether man to man or play in the zone. They can't stop me. Mayweather boxing, Curry with the shot, man. We just the best to be. Can we have our SB, please? This was meant to be. Every morning with Bradham and Emery.
Yes, sir. You know the vibes. Brad and Emery in the morning. I'm your host, Justin Emery. Jumping in with us Monday, March 22nd. Special guest co-host on the line, my guy Mike Joachim from Pit Lane Parlay. Mike, how you doing today?
I'm good, man. How you doing? I'm hope your listeners aren't too tired of me yet.
No, not at all. If anything, they're asking for more of it, in my opinion. So, now, real quick, gotta get my facts off. So March 22nd, did you actually know it's the anniversary of the first Stanley Cup ever in Montreal? Wow. 1894.
Respect.
Yes. It's also 1933, FDR legalizes the sale of beer and wine.
Respect again.
Yes. And it's also National West Virginia Day.
No respect on that one.
I'm not the biggest fan of the state of West Virginia.
No.
That's there's only 8 states that this show's not downloaded in, and West Virginia is one of them. So,
Is there really anything there other than the school, which I don't think I don't think you can really count it.
So when you're driving through, driving from east to west or west to east, really on 70, you're in West Virginia for all of 17 miles.
Yeah.
And it is a completely forgettable 17 miles.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
So, but everybody knows it's Monday, so we got to have a serious snack for a serious conversation. Today we got from the Beef Jerky outlet, what is this? Bacon on the go. Various different flavored bacon. As I'm sitting here eating it, it says microwave before eating, and I've sucked down 2 of them already. Well, it is what it is.
You didn't microwave it.
No, absolutely not. I took it right out of the packaging. So, how was your weekend, man? What you do? Anything fun?
Let's see.
Had some nice weather.
It was beautiful out. We did nothing. Went for a couple walks with the dog and watched a lot of TV and did some yard work. Literally, it was like every other weekend. Honestly, we didn't do anything. I have no exciting stories from this weekend for you.
I hear you. That's usually how my life is as well. Even though I just read the packaging, don't eat it, really. Guess what I'm doing? I opened another one.
Yeah, I can still tell you're eating it. I mean, props. I would do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. I've come too far. Turn back.
Yeah. I don't, when the instructions on or a recipe says, wait 5 minutes before serving, I dig in. I don't have time to wait 5 minutes before digging in. I just cook for an hour. I'm hungry.
Absolutely. I got to tell you a story. So, I do not condone what I'm about to tell anyone to do. So, this was years ago. At least, I think I was in high school when this happened. So, I'm at it's a holiday dinner. I don't know, Christmas dinner, Thanksgiving dinner. I'm at some kind of family dinner, something like that. And it's afterwards. You know how after the meal, everybody's just kind of hanging around, talking. Everybody's a little loose. They've probably been drinking, just telling wild stories to each other. Well, my cousin's husband decides to tell me a story about how his daughter, I think she licked a laundry detergent container or a softener, the lid to the softener, something like that. Obviously something that a child should not be licking.
I feel like this is the precursor to Tide Pods.
Potentially, maybe. So do you know what this idiot did? to figure out if his daughter was going to be okay, he did the same thing.
Wait. Hold on. Let's rewind.
Sure.
I wish I had a rewind button on my soundboard here.
Sure.
What you're telling me is to decide if his daughter, his own flesh and blood, was okay instead of like calling the doctor or calling poison control.
Well, no, he did. But in addition to, I wish I was. Yeah, I know. Go ahead. Yeah.
This is your cousin or your cousin's husband?
No, her husband.
Are they still married?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, good for her.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, I was probably in high school, maybe like real young in college. If I was older than high school.
But you were smart enough to know that was really stupid.
I literally laughed out loud. I was like, "You do what?" He said it again. I was like, "That's not the kind of thing you should tell somebody."
No, that's like something you take to the grave with you. Like you never, like you pay off your kid or whatever you need to do to make sure she never repeats it.
She might have been so young she probably didn't even know.
That's a good point.
Like you could have kept that to yourself, like forever. No one even had to know.
Yeah.
The first 5 minutes of the show, people are gonna be like, "What goes on this show?"
Yeah, and listen, we're recording later in the evening than I have with you, so it's my mind is a little bit spaced out. So my question, my amazement with this is probably tenfold what it would be, in the middle of the afternoon.
Well, I hear you. I hear you for sure. So shout out to these bacon strips are great. What's this? The sweet is way better than the what was this one? The habanero. The habanero heat. The sweet one's way better than the habanero heat. The sweet and spicy was very good. The fourth one I have though is raspberry. I don't really like raspberry that much.
Yeah, so I don't think that matches very well with bacon, but I'd try it.
I'm definitely gonna bypass that one. That one's going straight to the dog. Straight to the dog. But as far as the weekend goes, I did absolutely nothing other than clean my car. I did like a deep clean on my car and clean the whole thing out. So I did do that.
My car's still in the shop.
Still?
Yeah, but did I tell you what happened? Not that anybody cares.
You told me. All you did was tell me that you were mad at your car. You didn't really give me too many specifics.
So I'm gonna try to do the 30-second version so we can get on and talk about everything we plan to actually talk about. But my car has exactly 16,000 miles on it. So relatively new. Obviously, for the last year and change, have hardly done any driving other than weekend trips to the beach and whatnot. Last year, I went to run just about 2 weeks ago. I don't know, post office, Wawa or something real quick. Got out of my neighborhood. Car didn't really want to go anywhere. I limped around. My neighborhood's kind of like a U, so I limped back around to the other side of the neighborhood, got in, had my car towed. I knew something was really wrong. It just didn't sound right. And they were like, "Oh, well, we don't know." The next day they called and said one of the cylinders in my engine cracked and I had coolant leaking everywhere and I needed a new engine, like a whole new engine.
Oh, wow.
So I'm in a rental car, a loaner car right now, which is, fine. And even if I didn't, I still have my wife's car. So it's one of those like first world problem things, but
still, you want your car.
I want my car that I just literally just paid the bill for 3 days ago for my monthly car payment. And now I have this, uneasy feeling that you'll have your car back in 2 weeks is really not going to be 2 weeks. So yeah, I miss my car right now. I miss how dirty it was. It needed a deep clean. That's what got me thinking is I was probably going to do it. This would have been a great weekend to do it.
Yeah, no, I did a deep clean. It took me a solid 2 hours to get it done, but it is accomplished. Yeah, I was going to clean it as well, but I figured it's Sunday, it's nice out, there's going to be so many people at the car wash. I didn't bother wasting my time driving over there.
That's fair.
But so Sixers had a back-to-back over the weekend. Came away with 2 dubs. 2 dubs. Both games without Embiid, without Curry. One of the games without Simmons. Did not expect a dub on a back-to-back like that. But I'll take it. I will take it. Doesn't matter how ugly they are. I'm sure you're in the same mindset.
Yeah, I honestly didn't even know Simmons was out until after tip-off Saturday, because I was just kind of...
He was a late scratch.
Okay, so I wasn't missing much. Saturday was one of those days where like I just kind of napped all day. Was just not feeling it.
Yeah, no, he was a late scratch to the point that like I had him on bet slips, and they had to get voided obviously because he didn't play. But that's how late it was that he even appeared on bet slips that day.
So when I heard that, and I thought, okay, well, he'll miss both games probably. I thought, if they can go 1-1, it's the Kings and the Knicks. Like, Kings can't play defense, so at least if they can win that game, like, I'll take whatever happens.
Can't play, won't play.
Yeah. So, to come away with 2 wins, even if one of them wasn't so pretty, I'll move on and live life.
Yeah, I mean, I expected a tough game without Embiid, without Simmons, without Curry, especially with the first half of a back-to-back. You don't want to go all out and then not have nothing left in the tank for the second half. The Sacramento Kings, like you said, are not necessarily known for their defensive prowess, but when you're combining Embiid, Simmons, and Curry, that's 58.7 points that you're missing out of your starting lineup. And you were still able to win by 24 points. In a game that, to be honest with you, was never really close from the jump. I mean, you shot out to a 21-point lead in the first quarter and never looked back.
Yeah, scored, 41, 42 points in the first quarter?
42 to 21, yeah, in the first quarter. Yeah. They went 31 and 31 apiece in the second quarter, and then ratcheted up to the lead at one point in time was, if it wasn't at 30, it was close to 30. And, I mean, in the fourth quarter, you just unload the benches, and it doesn't matter. Like I said, you won by 24 points while you're missing 58.7 points out of your starting rotation.
Yeah. And I don't even think, and I don't have the box score in front of me right now.
It was 129 to 105.
I don't think, Tobias, let's call him option 3 in scoring. I don't even think he had like an amazing game. I think, 16, 17 points or something.
Oh, no. Harris lit it up. Harris absolutely lit it up against the Kings. And he is the second scoring option on this team. He's the third best player, but I would say on offense, he's the second.
I see what you mean.
He's the second best because, I mean, Embiid is your best player. He's, averaging 29.9 points a game. Let's just round it up to 30. He's averaging 30 a game. He's your best player. Harris, last time I checked, he was averaging like 21.6 points, I believe. So he's your second best, and Simmons is averaging 15.9. Now, Simmons is the second best player on this team, and probably your best overall defender. I understand Embiid is a defensive player of the year candidate year in and year out, but he's more of your rim protector defender, whereas Simmons is more of your perimeter defender. And all of that put together, I'd say Simmons is your number 2 overall player, but Harris, when it comes to scoring option, is number 2. And with Embiid out, he's number 1. He lit them up. I was going to get to Harris a little bit later, but no, he had a phenomenal game.
Yeah, I got confused with. I was looking at tonight's box.
Yeah, no, he was not. He was not as phenomenal on the game against the Knicks. No. Against the Kings, though, he lit it up. And this is the kind of game that, now I've been saying this a couple times this season, but I'm saying it more and more frequently. This is the kind of game that they lose with Brett Brown as the coach. And it's becoming a major indictment on Brett that we consider, that we are saying this over and over and over. And I think Doc Rivers should be considered the Sixers' biggest acquisition this season because of everything that he's done. I mean, he's guided them right now to the number 1 seed. As of right now, Monday morning, they are the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. And I think they're primed and ready to go. I think they're primed. They're ready to go. I got championship fever. I'm all the way in. And credit to Doc for also building a great coaching staff around him. I think they're ready to go. This team looks dangerous.
So, to your first point, yes, I think Doc Rivers. I was never a big Brown fan to begin with, but you hired Doc Rivers and you're like, okay, well, he was always good with LA, but never won a championship. Then all of a sudden he comes in and he hires all these good coaches to coach with him, and I love that strategy. And I thought heading into the year, okay, they're probably a 3 seed, a 4 seed, a 5 seed, somewhere in that middle range, because Brooklyn is so good, and the Celtics, et cetera. And maybe you get a team like Indiana to pop up there or something like that. But they've been pretty damn good all year. And my only worry is, and you saw it in overtime a little bit tonight, and I won't say too much on it, but I just wish Ben Simmons was a little bit more aggressive. Just a little bit more aggressive.
You hit it right on the head. We will get to that when that is on one of my talking points.
Yeah. I don't want to say any more than that. That's my only
No, that we will definitely get to that.
I want another shooter.
But don't forget though, Doc was the head coach when he managed that wild Boston Celtics team that won the chip in 2008. Just because he didn't win, just because he didn't win with the Clippers, which is a massive disappointment. They should have made it to at least one Western Conference final. But he was the perfect guy. He became available at the last second. The Sixers, to Josh Harris's credit, I have slammed him relentlessly, and rightfully so. He made the proper decision here. He got Daryl Morey in here to run the front office and the basketball operations, and is now paying dividends. You're now seeing the infrastructure of the team solidified, trickling down into results on the court. And that's what you want to see.
Yeah, they to me, the biggest thing is they are more consistent. You don't have they're not playing. You're not playing down to the competition. You're playing at a consistent level.
Yes.
Week in or game in and game out. And when I see that, I'm like, okay, you're getting that's what you want to see out of a playoff team.
This is how I described the game against the Kings. And I think this is the biggest thing you can say about that game, and this win in particular, is that everyone did what they're supposed to do. They did their job, and the results was a big win. And I'll dive into the box score real quick and explain what I mean with that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Shake had 28 points, which is what you need on a night without Embiid, without Simmons, without Curry. You need Shake to step up. It's good to see him step up and fill that role. Now, did I expect 28 points? No, but you need 20 out of him. On a night when you don't have your big guys, you need 20 from Shake. He came in and put up 28 on 36 minutes. That's what you need. He came in and did his job. Dwight Howard, he had a double-double in 20 minutes. That's exactly what you want from him. You brought him in to be the anchor of the second unit. That's what he's doing. With Embiid's injury, they're not playing Dwight Howard as the starter. They want to keep that bench rotation going the same and playing Howard the same. He had, I think it was 10 points and 12 rebounds in 20 minutes. When he's spelling Embiid, that's putting Embiid out there on the court for 28 minutes. That's exactly what you want. Now, Danny Green, even he happened to go 4 for 6 from 3 and finish the game with 18 points. I'm extremely critical of him, of the games that he's plays terrible. So it's only fair that I give him credit when it is due. So he played a good game. I don't change my stance on him, but I had to acknowledge the game that he had. I have to tip my cap to him for playing, for elevating his game to the point that they needed to win. But then
I caught the first half of that game, and then I watched the second half highlights on YouTube. And
the game was done by halftime.
Yeah, and Danny Green, I'm pretty sure the last time I was on the other day, I also slammed him, and he had a good night, and he was consistent, and that's the kind of Danny Green I would like to see more.
Yeah, I mean, you brought him in to be the veteran leadership, to be the championship, pedigree. He's going for a personal three-peat. He won the championship in 19 with the Raptors. He won the championship last year with the Lakers in the bubble. He's going for a personal three-peat. He knows what it takes to win a championship because he's been there the last 2 years. Now you just need him to take his off-the-court mentorship and actually apply it to on-the-court mentorship.
I agree.
And then it comes down to Superman, Tobias Harris. 28, 11, and 8 against the Kings. Without a doubt, this is his best season. In year number 10, this is his best season, and it's not even close. Should have been an all-star. I understand you only got 12 spots, and he really is the 13th guy on that team, and it's unfortunate that you only have 12 spots, but Tobias Harris is carrying this team right now without Embiid. He's taking his game to another level, and I do not hear anybody complaining about that contract anymore. Myself included. I am stopped complaining about the contract.
I'm going to counter your point in a positive way and say I'm almost glad he didn't make the All-Star team because and I forget his exact quote that he had, when he was asked about it, but you've seen that fire night in and night out, and even when he doesn't have a great game, he still contributes a meaningful basket here and there when needed. So it's definitely upped his, that chip on his back.
Absolutely. That's a great point. Cannot be understated. That's absolutely a great point. And one of my final takeaways from the Kings game is that Marcus has been chirping for a while to have Thibault as the starter. Comes in, inserted into the starter as in this game because you're missing three guys, and man, he is such a disruptor, such an agitator on the defense side of the ball, that when you combine that with how well the Sixers play in transition, how fast they are in transition, I think it's becoming more and more clear that he really should just be the starter and then bring Danny Green off the bench. Danny Green is I shouldn't say used to, because he has been a starter, but he has a history of also coming off the bench. So he is comfortable in that role. And if you bench help is what they need right now at the trade deadline, and it's slowly evaporating. Moving Danny Green to the bench means that you could potentially go after a cheaper or lower level guy to roll that out because you have found an in-house option.
I'm trying to come up with a reason to combat what you just said, and honestly, I'm kind of speechless. I think it's an interesting idea because I don't and I know, like, I want the Sixers to pick up somebody at the trade deadline or the buyout market that is a shooter, even if it's just off the bench. But I don't necessarily, and I know cap wise, the best way to do that is trade Danny Green. And as much as I have dogged him all year, I don't necessarily want to do that because he's won championships and he knows what it takes in the playoffs, and that experience is so valuable in any sport. So I'm not against it. I guess the only thing to me would be I want to see Thibault consistently, and I'm not saying he has to average 15 points a game for the rest of the season, but consistently in the 8 to 10 range where he's taking good shots. I want him to contribute on both ends. I think that would be what would be quote unquote required if I was making this decisions. And thankfully for the Sixers, I'm not.
Yeah, no, that's a very fair point. But I think it's fair to say that as an NBA starting three, which is what he would be, it is more than fair to ask him to average in the 10 to 12 point range. But also keep in mind that while he may not be able to do that every night, you are getting a top 3 defender at the wing position in the entire league when you put him on the court, only to be paired up with another top 3 wing defender in the league. I mean, when you put the top 3 on ball defensive guys in the NBA, Simmons and Thibault are 2 of the top 3, 2 of the top 5 guys.
Yep.
Imagine having both of those guys on the court with Embiid as the rim protector.
All right. Respect.
Make no mistake, he would be the 4th, potentially even the 5th scoring option in the starting rotation. Obviously, Embiid, Harris, and Simmons are 1, 2, and 3, and you can make an argument that Curry should be number 4. So it really comes down to, what would you have as far as offensive firepower as a starter? Do you think Danny Green or Thibault is a better offensive player? Now, I'm going to go as far as venture to say it's probably Danny Green as far as the offensive player goes. But Thibault's defensive prowess is so much higher than Danny Green's that his offensive deficiencies counterweigh it.
All right. I respect that.
So that's pretty much the case for it, and it was on display front and center against the Kings.
Yeah, all said.
So, you got any final thoughts on that before we hit a quick commercial break, and on the other side get to a couple of fun hypotheticals?
No, let's get to the fun.
All right, perfect. We're gonna hit a quick commercial break. Brad and Emery in the morning. I am Justin Emery with special guest co-host Mike Joachim from Pit Late and Parlay and Cardboard Fever. Catch you on the other side.
Hi, I'd like to talk to you guys today about my friends at Uncle Mike's Homemade Ice Cream. USA Today selected Uncle Mike's Homemade Ice Cream as the best ice cream parlor in Pennsylvania. Uncle Mike's is a family-owned and dedicated to the production of premium quality and gourmet ice cream and sorbet, made fresh daily on the premises using the highest quality ingredients available. Uncle Mike's features over 30 unique delicious flavors offered in scoops, sundaes, shakes, and special order ice cream cakes and pies. Uncle Mike's Homemade Ice Cream is located at 537 York Road in Warminster and is open all year round. Visit Uncle Mike's and let their friendly staff serve you happiness one scoop at a time.
Hey everybody, I want to tell you about Beef Jerky Outlet. 110 Lincoln Highway in Langhorne, right at the corner of Business Route 1 and Oxford Valley Road. Check them out online at beefjerkyoutlet.com/Langhorne. Use promo code BREMY for 10% off your orders. You can check out, they have all sorts of them. Everything you could think of beef jerky, they have. They have a ton of other stuff too. Spices, barbecue sauces, peanuts, all different kind of things. My personal favorite, the honey barbecue turkey jerky. Head up there. Sharon and Michael will take great care of you. Again, use promo code BREMY for 10% off your order at beefjerkyoutlet.com/Langhorne.
Hi, I'd like to talk to you guys about my friends at Amy's Pizza. Amy has a plethora of pizzas for your munching pleasure, especially pizzas such as Hawaiian, Margarita, and Taco. Taco actually being my personal favorite. And also plenty more. If it's sandwiches you desire, they've got those too. Cheesesteaks, burgers, hoagies, even gyros. Amy's offers pickup and takeout options. Also, they're available on Grubhub. Amy's located at 332 York Road in the heart of Hatboro. You can call them today at 215-957-1000. Again, that's 215-957-1000.
Yeah, man, we back. Brad and Emery in the morning. Justin Emery right here. Guest co-host Mike Joachim on the line with me. Speaking of Amy's Pizza, I hit them up on Friday after the show. Talk about a cheesesteak the size of my head. Oh, man. Husky, overflowing cheesesteak. So definitely go check out Amy's Pizza for that. I often say I don't believe in leftovers. Like, leftovers and me are not a thing. It took 2 sessions for that sandwich.
Wow.
That was a 2-session sandwich. No doubt about it. So, we were talking some hypothetical matchups. So, I was playing some video games over the weekend, and I decided to get into some of the older legendary squads in the game.
Yeah.
And I started playing a couple of different matchups, and that's kind of what spurred my mind. What are some great matchups that could never have occurred that would have been great to see on TV or be at in person? So, I got my list of 5. I'm sorry, 6 here that I came up with. Do you have a couple that you got up on your list as well?
You start. So
Okay.
I have about 2 kind of loosely formed in
Sure.
my head. So
Sure.
you start with one, and then I'll jump in.
I'll throw out my two football ones, my 2 NFL ones real quick. Okay, so the first one I have is the 2000 Baltimore Ravens against the 2007 New England Patriots. I mean, if we're talking a heavyweight battle,
Yeah,
got,
that'd be all
know,
right. I dig it.
we got Ray Lewis on one side, we got Tom Brady on the other side. Now they've played each other for over a decade. They have many, many matchups against each other, but these are their 2 best respective squads. And I'm honestly thinking I have to go Pats because I don't think that Trent Dilfer under center is going to fare very well against the hoodie on the other side.
I agree. I think, man, that's a good one. I'm
Because
honestly, I don't have anything other to say, and then that's a good one.
because the Patriots obviously were elite on offense, Ravens obviously elite on defense. But the thing is that the Patriots also had a great defense, and that Ravens offense, outside of Shannon Sharp and Jamal Lewis, I believe Jamal Lewis was on that team. I might have to go back and fact check that. But outside of Shannon Sharp, you know, lackluster at best.
Yeah,
Like
nothing.
a decent offensive line, but
Yeah,
nothing to the level of like the weapons that the Patriots defense had. Like
right.
they had a solid defense there. Ravens offense was just okay. So you got strength on strength with the Patriots offense, Ravens defense. The other side of the ball is where the game would be won or lost.
I dig it.
And then here's a complete hypothetical, because this one obviously could never happen. But we have the 2013 Broncos versus the 2015 Broncos. We have
So remind me who was on the 13 Broncos. The
So-
15, I have a vague idea, but
So-
the 13 is
so
escaping me.
so the 13 is Peyton Manning's record-setting offense.
Okay.
The 15 is the record-setting defense that allowed him to retire with the second ring.
Ooh.
I'm just here for the Omahas, because we got Peyton on one side, Peyton on the other. I'm just here for the Omahas.
All right.
And it's hard to pick that one because he had 3 receivers go over 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns, and he at the time had it has since been tied. But at the time, he had broke the record for most passing yards and most passing touchdowns in a single season. So
Yeah.
that was literally a record-setting offense across the board in the exact definition of it. But on the other side, 2015 Broncos defense is the top 3 statistical defense of all time, and we cannot forget that Von Miller single-handedly won that Super Bowl for them.
Wow, man, he was such a beast when his first 7-ish years of.
So a funny story about that Super Bowl. I'm not really a go to a Super Bowl type of guy, like party type of guy. I'd much rather just have my own party with myself and watch the game. That's my style for the Super Bowl. But that particular year, I went to a Super Bowl party, and they were having a Madden tournament there. I was like, this is cool. Man, I spent the whole game playing Madden.
I'm not surprised. I'm 0% surprised that you said that.
It was like, oh, I won. Oh, you got to play somebody else. The next thing I know, I've been playing Madden for like 2.5 hours. And I was like, I remember at one point in time, I was like, all right, I got to go get another drink. And I walk around and I realize that I've beaten every single person at this party in Madden. And I was like, I was sitting there, I was like, I'm not playing this anymore.
Yeah, at some point you just get bored and you're like, all right, I want to. This isn't fun anymore.
Yeah, and I'm really surprised because the couple of the guys who were there were guys who have stomped me before. So I was really surprised that I was just running through people.
You
But
get people who are half focused because of the Super Bowl. I'm making up excuses for them now.
yeah, it was just give me my win. Just let me have my win there. So,
All
but
right, I got one for you.
yeah, hit me what you got.
I'll start with hockey first because I know you're not going to have a hockey one.
Absolutely not.
So the 83-84 Edmonton Oilers,
Okay.
that year they were 57, 18, and 5.
Was that one of the years they had the great one?
Yeah, Gretzky had two. I think this is either his best year or second best year. He had 205 points, which was the best NHL scoring by 79 points that year. And I would like to see them play. Now, this could be really boring, but the 2001 New Jersey Devils, who were 51-17, 10-4. That was when hockey had ties, but also overtime points or shootout. I forget. No, it was pre-shootouts. Anyway,
Yeah, it was pre-shootouts. I believe it was just overtime, and that was that, wasn't it?
Yes, and I'm sorry that I'm giving the record to the wrong team there because I'm looking at too many columns. Nonetheless, I would like to see early 2000s New Jersey Devils when they won the cup, once or twice.
Oh, for sure. Those were some teams. Yeah. Was it Scott Stevenson? I think his name was.
Scott Stevens was late 90s, early 2000s. So that team, they didn't score a ton, but they didn't need to because they had Brodeur, who was essentially a third defenseman. They had a couple of guys on offense, and the names are literally escaping me now that we're talking about it. But they had Brian Rafalski on defense, obviously Brodeur, Stevens. The team was just, you couldn't score against them at all. So having a team like Wayne Gretzky, who scored 200 points, who could play against Martin Brodeur, who, in his prime, I think would be really cool. Obviously, they probably did cross paths, but at that point, it was at the very end.
Yeah, no, we're talking about when people would draw them in their prime.
Yeah.
No, that's a good one. That's a good one. The fact that I know about the early 2000s Devils teams.
Yeah, I honestly, even the fact you said Scott Stevenson, I was like, wow, at least you're like 90% right, and that's more than I expected.
Oh, for sure. I also would be intrigued to see those late 90s Avalanche teams with Forsberg.
Oh, yeah.
And who else was there? It was Forsberg and Joe Sakic, I think it was.
Yeah, Forsberg, Joe Sakic, Patrick Waugh.
Patrick Waugh in goal. Yeah, those were some stacked teams.
And as much as I want, I'm refusing to put the Flyers in there because I'm mad at them after this weekend. But
rightfully so.
Yeah, the Lindros era, so let's say 97 when they lost in the Cup against, I don't know, maybe one of the Islanders teams from the 80s that won 4 cups in a row, I think would be a whole lot of fun, more fun than that 97 Flyers team ended up, getting swept in the Cup.
Nice. You have another one?
Yeah, let's switch sports here. Let's go baseball.
Oh, okay.
And again, very different eras. I'm going to go the 95 Braves who won the World Series. That was the Greg Maddux, John Smoltz, and Tom Glavine era. All had ERAs less than 3.5 that year, and Maddux was 19-2 with a 1.63 ERA against any of the pre-1930s Yankees teams. Ruth, Garrick, or again,
I'd say let's go 27.
Yeah, that was. They had some, obviously that was the Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig years.
Yeah.
Side note, also, if we could add in the 1960s era's Yankees with like Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris would also be super cool to see.
Yeah, I was trying to think of something for baseball, but to be honest with you, it's really hard. Like there's very few truly stacked teams. Like, I mean, we could put like Jeter's Yankees against like Babe Ruth Yankees, but like there's so few to choose from as far as different teams in baseball. Like, it would really be like Yankees versus Yankees, Red Sox versus Red Sox, like
Yeah.
Dodgers versus Dodgers.
This took a lot of research while you were talking about the Broncos. I was digging through the Braves statistics to find a year where.
How about the 2011 Phillies?
Oh man, yeah, that's a good one. See, I'm not a Phillies fan, so like I wouldn't.
Yeah, where were they? That was the year where they won 102 games with Halladay and Lee and Oswald and Hamels and what was it? The four aces. That was
your Halladay had the no hitter in the first round of the playoffs, right?
I believe it was the following year.
Okay.
This is the year that Howard got hurt in the playoffs.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I believe it was the following because if I recall correctly, it was Halladay's first year that he threw the no-hitter in the playoffs, and I believe the four aces was his second year, if I'm recalling that correctly. Yeah,
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But baseball. I feel like baseball though is the one sport that is still played the closest way then to now. Like the pitchers then, like for example, if we were to hypothetically put, Wilt Chamberlain era players against today's NBA players, well, they didn't have the 3-point line. Completely different game. Go to like the super old school NFL guys with leather helmets. They can't compete with today's athlete in the NFL. But baseball, I feel like baseball is the one sport that you could stack up and compare how a team from the 60s would do against a team from today.
Man, that would be super interesting. I dig that one because I know very little about old school basketball. That's the one old school era sport that I am not super well versed in.
Yeah, I mean, like we're talking like before the three. Like imagine not having 3-point line. It completely changed the way that the game is played. It's a different sport. So things like in the NFL, the field goal used to be at the front of the end zone, not the back of the end zone.
Yeah,
completely changing the game. Just little tweaks like that. Whereas baseball, to their credit in this scenario, is so archaic that you can compare errors. So
that would be really cool. Yeah, I'm in.
So that's that. Now moving on to basketball. So this is a kind of a two-parter. All right. So we're gonna put the 95 Bulls obviously up there.
Yeah.
The 72 game winning Jordan squad. And I'm going to give you a pair of challengers for that.
Who do I get to pick?
You would get the 2000 Lakers or the 2015 Warriors. Those are often the two teams that are said to have had the best chance to beat them. That was Shaq and Kobe, both being Shaq and Kobe at the same time. That's the first of their three-peat, when they really started to find out that they were the best 1-2 punch, maybe in NBA history.
So the 2015 Warriors obviously had Kurt Thompson and Draymond, but who else was on that team?
That was Steph, KD, Clay, and Green, and the 73-win team.
Man, I don't know how you pick against them because Kobe.
Ironically, though, that's also the team that lost to LeBron in the finals, though. Wait, no. I'm lying. That is not true. I don't think they had KD. Let me go back and look. Because this timeline... Hold up. I got to call out the website I got this from. Because upon reading this more in depth, I think that they had bad intel.
Did you go to Wikipedia? Do you want 2014, 2015, or 2015, 2016?
The 73-win team.
Okay, that's 2015, 2016.
I don't think they had Kevin Durant, did they?
Let's see here. We have Curry, we have Green, we have Iguodala, Klay Thompson. No, there is no KD.
Then I'm going to push it back a year, and I'm going to say I want the Kevin Durant team.
Okay, so that was probably 2016, 2017.
It was the following season.
Yeah. Kevin Durant was on the Warriors the first year in 16, 17.
Yeah, all right, that's the team I want.
They were 67, 15. Let's see here. I don't see. The problem is Shaq and Kobe are obviously all world talents, but Curry can hit a shot from essentially anywhere on the court. Klay Thompson, pretty much the same. So they don't even need to drive and go near Shaq. So you can essentially take Shaq's defense out of the game there, and playing defense, Durant is a capable defender. Draymond, I think, would have gotten owned by Shaq and around the rim.
Yeah, I mean, Shaq would have had his way with Draymond. There's no doubt about it. But
I think over 7 games, they're shooting.
Yes. What it is that Klay Thompson is going to guard Kobe. And Klay Thompson's going to frustrate Kobe. Kobe's going to get his. But what it is you have Curry. Who's going to defend him? Who's going to defend Durant? Who's going to defend Thompson? Like, they just have too much shooting there.
Wait, hold on a second here. I just realized what we were doing. We're comparing the Warriors against Lakers when we were supposed to be comparing them against the 95 Bulls.
Well, but you have to stack the two of them against each other to figure out who the better opponent would be for them.
Touche. My fault. I was getting ahead of myself.
Yeah. So I think that I think the Bulls would beat the Lakers but lose to the Warriors.
I'm still taking the Bulls because that was Rodman years, right? Rodman was on that team.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I just think
Rodman, Pippen, Jordan.
Yeah, that's just that's so much.
Like we're talking Space Jam, Michael Jordan.
Yeah, and I'm taking Michael, not taking Michael out of the equation, but just ignoring him. The amount of depth that team had, and
yes,
and Rodman was like what I wish Draymond Green would be. Just a total beast on defense. He can just 25 rebounds a game. Like it was
Rodman
nothing.
And Green would be must-see TV on the block.
Oh, they would end up. It would end up in and I know you'll probably talk about a matchup like this in a minute, in an actual boxing match.
Yes. Absolutely.
And Rodman would wipe the floor with Draymond Green in that as well.
Oh yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love me some Draymond Green. Make no mistake about it. But Dennis Rodman's a different cat.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I'm looking at Draymond's career numbers right now that I have Basketball Reference up there, and obviously he's a hell of a talent, but his numbers are really kind of lackluster.
No, I mean he's not. The thing is, he's not a statistical guy by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah,
he's a glue guy. He just kind of holds stuff together. He's a glue guy. He's very much. I mean, a different kind of glue guy. But think of Andre Iguodala, he's a different kind. But Iguodala is a glue guy.
His playoff numbers are significantly higher than his regular season numbers, so he comes to play when it matters. So,
and I mean, he does have 4 rings. All these guys have 4 rings, so you cannot take that away from them.
Draymond has 3.
Draymond only has 3?
Yes. 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, and 2017, 2018.
He wasn't on that first team with them?
What year are you thinking?
Hold on. Wait, does Steph only have?
I can tell you that in 1 second. Let me
I thought those guys had 4.
I
couldn't tell you. I'm sorry. No, they only have 3. Okay, I could have swore those guys had 4.
Yeah, Steph has the same 3 as well.
Yeah, no, yeah, they were all on the same. I just for some reason I thought those guys had 4 instead of 3.
It didn't. They lost the 1 year.
They lost 2. They lost the Toronto and they lost to Cleveland.
They lost to Toronto.
Yeah,
a couple of years ago.
Yeah. So those are my So those are my NBA guys against the Bulls, and then I have another basketball one. The 99 the 92, the Dream Team, 92 Olympic team
Oh,
versus the '08 Olympic team. Now a lot of people say 2012 was the best Olympic team since '92. I beg to differ. I would say it's the 2008 team. Is the best team.
you said 92 versus 2008?
Yes. 2008 men's U.S. Olympic team.
Okay, I am pulling up the rosters here to give you.
So,
And-
let me also tell you a little tidbit about the '92 team, which everybody knows. You know who that it has 11 NBA Hall of Famers on the roster. So,
Yeah.
the 12th guy, the I forget who it was, but whoever the president of USA Basketball was at the time, said that he wanted to give that 12th position to whoever was the best college player. That year, it turned out to be Christian Laettner from Duke. Do you know who Laettner won that spot over?
Wow. No.
Shaq. So that player could have been a college LSU Shaq instead of Duke's Christian Laettner.
Man, can you imagine? That would have just cemented.
I mean, it would have been 12 Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
I mean, Shaq would have been your 12th man.
That's, man. Okay, so we got this. Got the coaches here. All right, 2008.
Yeah, it was Kobe, Jason Kidd,
Young LeBron.
young Durant, Carmelo Anthony, Dwight Howard, Chris Bosh, Chris
Recall.
Redd, I think, was on that team, if I recall.
Michael Redd.
What was it?
Michael Redd.
Michael Redd. Who else was on? Carlos Boozer was on that squad. Dwayne Wade was on that squad. Was Tayshaun Prince on that squad?
He was, yeah.
And I think I'm missing one other guy.
Deron Williams, did you say him?
No, I did not. That was it, Deron Williams.
Yeah. Man, I as talented as this team is with a young LeBron and a 2008, so that was
You know, LeBron was 23, 24 years old. Kevin Durant was 20, 21, something like that.
We don't have Durant on this team.
Durant wasn't on that team?
No, I don't even think he was in the NBA in 2008.
He was. He was drafted in 2007.
Okay, I'm looking at the team here.
All right, maybe he wasn't on that squad. I could have.
Yeah,
maybe
no,
wasn't.
he's not. But if I wasn't looking at the actual roster, I would have believed you.
Yeah. No, I thought he was on that team. He obviously he was on the 12 team.
Yeah.
But I guess I guess he wasn't on that team. But I mean, that's you have Kobe, you have Dwight Howard, you have. I mean, let's not act like Carmelo Anthony isn't the most decorated Olympic basketball player of all time.
Carmelo in his prime was absolutely dynamite.
Yeah, I mean,
he still has games.
Like Carmelo is, I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer in my opinion, and I think that anybody that thinks otherwise is just incorrect. But it's not the NBA Hall of Fame; it's the Basketball Hall of Fame, and the fact that Carmelo is the most decorated Olympic basketball player of all time. Like it's a documented fact. Go, but you can look up his accomplishments.
I'm not going to do that, but I believe you. But I'm still going to go the '92 team for one reason. So guys like Dwight Howard, obviously he's not shooting outside of 2 feet. Remind me, was Carlos Boozer a decent shooter back in the day?
He was all right. No, it wasn't anything special. But you got to remember they're playing by Olympic rules. Olympic rules are a little bit different than the NBA.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as goaltending.
So my thinking is the 92 team is both offensively and defensively just you can put David Robinson at, I'm exaggerating here, so please don't take this as gospel at point guard and have Michael Jordan at center and, have no drop off. That team just, was so interchangeable with guys and how good they were. All those guys could shoot. All of those guys could drive the hoop. All those guys could play defense.
I mean, yeah, everybody could do whatever they wanted.
Yeah. And I think the 2008 team is just like one step below that. Like, I see why you're putting them against each other. I totally see it. I love it. But I think they're just like one step short.
Yeah, it would definitely be quite the matchup. So then I got a boxing one for you.
Okay, I'm in.
Okay. Give me Mike Tyson.
Yep.
Against Jack Dempsey.
Ooh. Let me look up Jack Dempsey. Boxing is not something I know.
Heavyweight champion from, I want to say, 19. He was heavyweight champion in the majority of the 1920s. How's
19? That? Oh, I just lost it. I just had it on my screen here. 1919 to 1926.
Yes, fans of the show Boardwalk Empire will recognize the name from making a couple cameo appearances.
I'm still gonna watch that.
He was Hollywood back then. Like, he was the Muhammad Ali. He was the. I mean, I know a lot of people hate him, but you can't knock his popularity. He was the Floyd Mayweather. He was Mike Tyson. Like, that was him in the 1920s.
Man, I don't know anybody who in the early 1900s would for money would just walk up to people and say, "I can't sing or dance, but I can fight." I'm taking Jack Dempsey on this one just because I'm reading this dude's bio and
yes,
the Wikipedia bio, and I am intimidated just reading this.
Yeah, he was a wild guy. People sleep on him. He was a wild dude. Mike, he was a wild guy.
Like, this is one of those guys that now that I see this, I want to read more about it, but also at the same time, like, I'm glad that he passed a couple of years before I was born, because even at the age he passed away of 87, he could probably still kick my butt any day of my life.
No doubt about it. He was a bad man. And then I got two notable mentions for you. Two honorable mentions. Went into the college ranks, and I pulled 2001 University of Miami.
Football, we're talking here?
Yes, football. Versus 2019 LSU.
Oh, wow. I'm taking LSU. That offense was so dynamic.
Go look at the Miami 2001 defense. They averaged 9.8 points a game.
So that was 2001.
Yeah, I believe Ed Reed was there. Who else? It was a star-studded team.
Yeah, I got the roster here. Give me 1 second. So, Jonathan Vilma.
Yep.
And the college rosters on this website are really annoying to read.
Oh, it's terrible.
Vince Wilfork.
Yep, Vince Wilfork. Like I said, Ed Reed was there.
Ed Reed, yep. Ansharo Roll. Philip Buchanan, who I think had a decent NFL career.
Yeah, he had a solid NFL career. Was Warren Sapp still there at that time, or was he already drafted?
No, he was drafted in the mid-90s.
Oh, he drafted that early. Okay.
Because he sacked what's his name, McNabb, in McNabb's NFL debut. That's the only reason I can tell you that one.
Gotcha. Fair enough. All right, noted. But no, that team was stacked. So that's an honorable mention. And then here's another one. The 04 USC team, Reggie Bush and all those guys.
Yep.
Who actually technically never played college football, if you want to be technical about it. Versus the 08 Florida team with Tim Tebow.
So 08 was, who else was on that team?
Oh, Percy Harvin, Aaron Hernandez, Riley Cooper, Brandon Spikes. I think the Pouncey twins were on that team.
And that's a tough one. The 04 USC team, I'm kind of leaning towards, and
I mean,
I am.
Reggie Bush at USC is like the best football player I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, he was like a cheat code video game good in real life.
Yes, it was unfair watching him play on Saturdays.
So I think I would lean there. Granted, college sports are not my specialty in terms of knowing too much about them, but yeah, I think I'm going to take that one. Very good choices though.
Yeah, so those are some fun hypotheticals to play around with. So
I like it.
yeah, man, for sure. So we're gonna take another quick break. On the other side, we will be discussing the Knicks Sixers 1 point overtime win, which was the equivalent of basically cutting my eyes out while I watched that game. So we'll get to that on the other side. Brandon Emery in the morning. Justin Emery, your host, along with guest co-host Mike Joachim. We'll catch you on the other side.
Hi, I'd like to talk to you guys today about my friends at Uncle Mike's Homemade Ice Cream. USA Today selected Uncle Mike's Homemade Ice Cream as the best ice cream parlor in Pennsylvania. Uncle Mike's is a family-owned and dedicated to the production of premium quality and gourmet ice cream and sorbet, made fresh daily on the premises using the highest quality ingredients available. Uncle Mike's features over 30 unique delicious flavors offered in scoops, sundaes, shakes, and special order ice cream cakes and pies. Uncle Mike's Homemade Ice Cream is located at 537 York Road in Warminster and is open all year round. Visit Uncle Mike's and let their friendly staff serve you happiness one scoop at a time.
Hey, everybody. I want to tell you about Beef Jerky Outlet. 110 Lincoln Highway in Langhorne, right at the corner of Business Route 1 and Oxford Valley Road. Check them out online at beefjerkyoutlet.com/Langhorne. Use promo code BREMI for 10% off your orders. You can check out, they have all sorts of them. Everything you could think of beef jerky, they have. They have a ton of other stuff too. Spices, barbecue sauces, peanuts, all different kind of things. My personal favorite, the honey barbecue turkey jerky. Head up there. Sharon and Michael will take great care of you. Again, use promo code BREMI for 10% off your order at beefjerkyoutlet.com/Langhorne.
Hi, I'd like to talk to you guys about my friends at Amy's Pizza. Amy has a plethora of pizzas for your munching pleasure, especially pizzas such as Hawaiian, margarita, and taco. Taco actually being my personal favorite. And also plenty more. If it's sandwiches you desire, they've got those too. Cheesesteaks, burgers, hoagies, even gyros. Amy's offers pickup and takeout options. Also, they're available on Grubhub. Amy's located at 332 York Road in the heart of Hatboro. You can call them today at 215-957-1000. Again, that's 215-957-1000.
Yeah, man, and we back. Brandon Emery in the morning. I'm Justin Emery. Got my man Mike Joachim here. And, the Sixers won the back-to-back over the weekend. Happened to pull out both games, though the second game was significantly uglier than the first game. I was going into this game with the same thing I was saying about the Bucks game last week. I'm not going to overreact either way. So, the Sixers came out, looked good in the first quarter. Korkmaz decided he wanted to score 9 points in the first quarter and looked like he was first-team All-NBA before going back to regular Korkmaz again. Yeah, it's back to regular Korkmaz. The second half back-to-back, you got Simmons to come into this game, so he made the return. But, you got the 1-point lead, the first game of a 6-game road trip. Sometimes you're going to have ugly wins. Take them where you get them. That's kind of how I feel about this game.
This is one of those games that, and I think you said it I don't know if we were recording or if it was just chatting, that the Knicks always play the Sixers tough.
Yeah.
And so I was expecting a close game, and it was close. As I said before, you and I were recording Sunday nights. I watch some reality TV with the wife, and it's our kind of like our weekend tradition is to sit down and watch that and laugh about it. And I saw they were up by, I think, 7 or 8 at that point, and I was walking the dog and saying goodnight and getting ready to record with you here. And you were like, well, it might go to overtime. I really hope it doesn't, because I need a couple
I jinxed us. I fully admit I jinxed us.
And I was like, it's 8 points, man. It's cool. And I put the dog in the bedroom, and I looked at the score, and it was 88-85. And I was like, okay, it's 3 points. It's fine. And then Randall hits that damn 3-pointer, which was an
Mm-hmm.
amazing shot. It was very Kawhi-esque, the way it bounced off the rim, bounced off the backboard and in. And then overtime, which was like the Sixers either looked amazing in overtime or awful in overtime. And there was no in between in that 5-minute period. And the one thing I'll say, and I kind of alluded to this earlier, and I meant to hold it for now, and I just couldn't help myself. But there was a moment in overtime where Ben Simmons had the ball and he could have driven to the net, and he had about 4 feet in front of him to move, drive to the net, force a foul, anything, and he just kind of like kicked it out to Danny Green, who had to take a three from like 64 feet away. That was the one three he missed in overtime. Otherwise, another good game from him. So that's my Ben Simmons complaint is he could have made overtime a little bit easier. Just drive the hoop, man.
Yeah,
Everybody sagged off of him because they knew he wasn't going to shoot.
yeah. One knock I have against the Sixers in this game is the foul shooting at the end of the game.
Oh,
Oh, I wish I could. I meant to write a tally down before we started recording, and I forgot to do it, of the amount of missed foul shots in the fourth quarter. Simmons missing both. Harris missing. Like this, they won the game. They won a game they probably should have lost.
yes.
Okay, I'm happy they did, but things that happened in this game need to be corrected because when you play a better team, you won't be able to catch as many breaks as you will against the guys like the Knicks. When you play the Nets, you can't miss these foul shots at the end of the game. It'll come back to haunt you. The Knicks, you can do that. You cannot do that against the Nets.
And I shouldn't say I'll forgive Harris because he is pretty dynamite from shooting free throws most of the time. But I mean, Ben Simmons, come on, man. Like you gotta make your free throws.
Stop. I don't want to kill them because, like as I had mentioned,
I know.
they got the win, but it was far from a perfect win. Far from a perfect win, and they did end up winning a game they should have lost. So I'm happy about it in the end.
And in the regular season, a win is a win, and it doesn't really matter. But my analytical brain can never be happy. That's probably why we live in Philadelphia. Is we can never really be happy. So I'm gonna pick things apart like that. But mega effort from Dwight Howard, 13 boards, couple blocks.
Yes.
Obviously, Danny Green, 11 points, 5 steals, 3 blocks, couple rebounds, 2 huge 3-pointers in overtime, or maybe he had all 3 in overtime. I don't remember. Either way, he played really well, essentially the whole game, even though he didn't score a point in the first half. Thibault, 2 of 5 shooting. Okay, 2 of 5 from 3. That's fine. He did his job. It's nice to see Maxey chipping a little bit. And Korkmaz, I usually don't listen to too much of what Philly radio says when I'm mainstream radio, 97.5 and WIP, what they say, and when they hated on Korkmaz, I was like, he can't be that bad. The more I've watched him this year, the more I'm like, man, this guy's so frustrating.
Oh, he's incredibly frustrating because he'll go out there one game, and he'll score 35 points. Oh, hold on a minute. There we go. I'm pulling up the box score. He'll score. He'll get 35 points, and the next night he'll get 6. And you're like, what is going on here? Incredibly infuriating.
I'm trying to pull up more than just this game, and it's my here we go. Scoring. Okay, this isn't really providing me. I want a game log. Okay, continue on.
No, like that. Just like I said, that pretty much just he'll score 36 points, and then the next game he'll score 5, and you're just like, what's going on here?
Yeah, there was one game in the last 3 weeks where everybody
Tonight's
went,
matchup, me versus an ugly fender
"Oh my
bender.
god!" And NBA.com really needs to get rid of their background ads that scare the hell out of me in the middle of looking at up stats.
Yo, straight up, I'm pretty sure that was me on ESPN.
Okay, that's why I don't go to ESPN to look up box scores anymore, because I've had that problem happen when I've been recording the sports card stuff, and I've had to try to figure out how to edit it out. Anyway, yeah, there was a game a couple weeks ago. Korkmaz had like 32 points, and everybody was playing. So you're going, all right, maybe we can get him in the starting lineup more. And then the next game he comes out and he shoots like 1 of 15.
Yeah, it's so infuriating. Like, Marcus is glad that he's playing better because he's turning himself into a trade piece. I'm just tired of looking at him. It
Yeah,
just is what it is.
I got nothing else to add to that one.
Yeah, so. But that pretty much wraps up this episode. Mike, I appreciate you jumping on here with me again. You know the routine. Let everybody know where to check you out at.
Yeah, find me on Twitter. That's the social media I'm most active on and I'm most likely to reply. My personal one is at Mike_JOAC, and then Pit Lane Parlay, PARLEY, is the spelling. And first Formula One race is coming up this week. I'm sure I'll talk about that more with you at some point throughout the week.
For sure.
So I'll save a cool announcement, something we're doing for the Formula One season. And at Card Fever Pod, got a Monday episode coming out in the morning, and that means I have to do a Monday TikTok as well. So you get to see my lackluster skills at a social media app I don't really understand. But yeah, I mean, reach out. I love to talk racing. It's the first race week of the season, which means Monday is a little bit easier to handle.
Love it. Love it. As always, catch me on Twitter at Justin Emery Show. Follow the show everywhere at Brad Emery Pod. Check out Beef Jerky Outlet Langhorne for 10% off. Use promo code BREMY. And as always, you can be with us, you can be against us, but you're never going to stop us. Late